Good early morning on this Saturday morning. Welcome to this week's weekly weather briefing. It is August the 5th, 2017. Yes, it is August, and this is our first weekly weather briefing for the month of August. Crazy to think that we are already to the eighth month of the year, but little did we know that we were going to have to endure some chillier temperatures for the month of August. Really, this first week or so has been a little bit below average, and the rest of the month of August looks to fall a little bit below average. Granted, there will be a couple of days that will be exceptions, but there is always going to be that overall pattern, and that does look to be a chillier pattern, like I mentioned in last week's briefing. So it looks like this chillier pattern is still going to unfold like I planned about a week ago, and it is already in the middle of unfolding now that the month has actually begun. So temperatures as of right now, as of this recording, it is around 6:30 in the morning. You can tell that we do have low to mid 50s across most of the region. My forecast was for mid to upper 50s, so that is falling a little bit too warm for what is happening this morning. The dew points went a little bit lower than I would have liked for them to, and because of that drier air, those temperatures are about a few degrees colder than what I was originally anticipating. But I don't think I saw anybody's forecast go this chilly for temperatures, so I think the temperatures did go a little bit chillier than what most forecasters were thinking for this morning's lows. Nonetheless, this is temperatures that we haven't seen since this last spring. We saw pretty chilly temperatures last weekend, but they weren't this chilly. We did see mid to upper 50s last weekend, but these are in the low to mid 50s, some 52-degree readings in some isolated low-lying cold spots, and those are the readings that we're watching that are making us think low 50s for this morning. Let's go ahead and look what this week has in store for us. It's not going to be near as dry as what we saw last week. The cold front that came through on Thursday night and Friday was a little bit spotty, and I did say that not everybody was going to pick up rainfall from that cold front, and that was certainly the plan because once we got towards Friday morning, very, very many people had not had a drop of rain since Thursday morning when that cold front came through. On Thursday afternoon, there was a couple of scattered showers that dotted the radar, but many of them were very spotty in nature and not a big washout, very quick moving showers. Once we get towards tomorrow, we're seeing another complex of thunderstorms move into the region, and MCS. This could cause a couple of reports of severe weather. Right now, the National Weather Service or the Storm Prediction Center is showing a marginal risk for severe weather, but I think that we'll maybe have to up that to a slight risk because we do have a couple of components in store for tomorrow. It looks like some of the models are agreeing on a line of storms forming and moving through our region late tomorrow evening and early tomorrow night. And some of those lines of storms could be quite intense with a couple reports of gusty winds that could reach severe limits, but we'll just have to wait and see. Once we get towards noon on Sunday, you can tell that complex is mainly still off to our west. I think it will die off by Sunday morning. So I think Sunday morning when we wake up, the radar is going to look like that complex is about to move in pretty soon by noon or so. But I think a lot of the stuff that's at the very beginning is going to fall apart as it moves into some drier air that is in our region right now. But once we get towards tomorrow afternoon, that atmosphere should begin to moisten up a little bit, and then eventually we can see some refiring up of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. Those showers and thunderstorms will be the ones that we'll have to watch out for. Once we get into Monday morning, some spotty showers are not out of the question. This low pressure is going to be right here near our vicinity. It's a very weak area of low pressure, but it will have a warm front and a cold front attached to it. The warm front moves through sometime in the day on Sunday, and then on Monday we see that cold front come through. That would be why you see such a sharp cutoff of rain right here. And that cold front would move through on Monday, leaving us with some slightly cooler air and some slightly drier air, but nothing compared to what we're getting right now in the mid to low 50s for overnight lows and upper 70s to low 80s for highs. I think we'll be in the upper 70s to low 80s for highs, but the dew points aren't going to be as low. The temperatures are just going to be that low because of clouds and precipitation. Now, once we get into Wednesday, it seems like this unsettled pattern just continues to unfold. Once we get into the end of the week, it looks like we're going to continue to look at some daily shower and thunderstorm chances. Not a whole lot of chances. It looks like these aren't going to be very high chances once we get towards the later part of the week, because right now my confidence level for the later part of the week is not very high. Right now, models are not coming into agreement whatsoever on what the end of the week has in store for us. So we'll have to wait in just day by day and see how that all goes out. And once we get towards next weekend, possibly another cold front coming through the region. So these cold fronts are going to begin to become more numerous because we're beginning to look at a more fall pattern setting up. And so we're going to see the atmosphere trying to work its way down into fall. And by doing that, we're looking at a series of cold fronts really just about every week. So when we went from summertime where we got no cold fronts, and if we did, they were very weak and you hardly felt a difference, we're going from that to a lot of cold fronts very frequently. Once a week is a very frequent time for some cold fronts. So we'll just have to watch each one of them because fall is also a severe weather season for us. And so as we go into the month of September, and then really once we get into August and November, the heart of fall, that's when we will have to begin to really watch for some severe weather components increasing when we see each cold front come through. If we look at the NAM 3KM model, it does have a better show on what the storms for tomorrow afternoon are going to have in store for us. It's showing some showers around Sunday morning. I don't think this is going to happen. I think we'll be a little bit too dry for that. But once we get into Sunday afternoon, I do think that we'll see that complex of storms form off to our west. And with it, it could have a couple reports of some gusty winds. The 3KM NAM model is showing really some gusts over 30 to 40 miles an hour right here along the leading edge of this line. So we'll watch it very closely. And then once we get towards around, this would be on 5 p.m. tomorrow night, I do believe so. Once we get towards 7 p.m. tomorrow night, you can tell that we are beginning to watch that line move through the area. My timing might be just a little off, but you can tell that that storm complex will be through our area tomorrow evening. And with it, it could bring some gusty winds, heavy rain, and frequent lightning. Also some tropical like downpours. And for the late after that and late after that complex moves through, we could have some refiring up of some showers and thunderstorms. Lower confidence on this happening where I'm circling my mouse because I'm not sure if we'll have enough energy left over for some more storms to form and become quite that intense as the NAM 3KM model is showing. All right, so let's look at what the National Weather Service, I do like showing you these maps really just about every video because it can at least give you and me an idea on what these hand-drawn maps are showing, because when you go and look at a weather model, they're not going to show you this. You know, you're going to see a couple of these components that they have on here, but you're not going to see these red code front, the red triangle code fronts, things like that. So it's easier just to show you these hand-drawn maps, and typically they're a little bit more accurate than the model itself. And I told you about that warm front coming through on Sunday. There it is right here. It's coming north. Sometime in the day Sunday it should move through. And so it looks like temperatures would want to increase on Sunday, but with clouds and precipitation around, you can tell a pretty good chance of rain right here. It doesn't look like temperatures are going to get all that warm. Once we get towards Monday morning, you can tell that cold front is already beginning to move through. But if it stalls out, we could have daily shower and thunderstorm chances right along of it. So we'll have to watch that very closely. The temperatures over the next 16 days, I just really want to show you guys that trend and mainly just look at the next 7 days. Once we get towards out here, the confidence becomes a lot lower on if this is going to actually verify. I actually think that temperatures will actually level off around 86, 87 degrees just about every day. I don't agree with the GFS. It's been trying to go too warm. Each run, it'll try and knock the temperatures down just a little bit, and then it wants to raise them back up. So I don't agree wholeheartedly on the GFS when we come out here into the second half of this time frame, but the first half, you can tell that temperatures are going to be in the low to mid 80s. Monday, we could have temperatures in the upper 80s, depending on the time of the day that that cold front does move through and how much rain we have around in the region. Overnight lows look to be pretty chilly, below average, around the mid 60s look to be a good bet. And the rain over the next week does look to be a little bit more than what we've seen in a while. Temperatures, or rather precipitation, looks to range anywhere between 1 to 2 inches with some localized higher amounts. So we have plenty of rain chances this week, which is good news because I know that many of you will need it over the next week, and it does look like these are going to be more widespread rains rather than just the spotty rains that only a few people will pick up. I hope you have a great week.